Blog Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to World of Perspective Radio on Blog Talk Radio. My name is Elizabeth Alron and I am your host. If you look up the words used to name this show, you will find among many others a picture or view of something for the word perspective, a realm or domain or sphere of human activity or interest for the word world. And if you look up the word human, you find sympathetic, humane. When you put the elements together, to me, it says that a world of perspective is a sympathetic and humane view of the things that matter. When you join me, you'll always find the show taking a perspective, a view that will potentially be inspiring, helpful, or illuminating. Does it mean you need to take it on as your own? Hardly. If it provides you fuel to continue going in the direction you've been going, great. If it gives you a new course of action to consider, also great. All I am desiring to do is give you some food for thought. The call-in number for the show is 347-324-5745. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to spending time with you. And Will is such a calm, wonderful presence. Hopefully, if you're stressing about what's going on in your life and what directions to take, which I'm finding a lot of people are, by the end of the show, you'll have some clarity on how to approach things. And I think everything is definitely a process. So, as much as I'd like to think everybody will come away with exactly knowing everything about their life, that's probably not going to happen, right?
Well, it might.
Oh, okay.
It might, but I think it's appropriate to set expectations. I personally have spent many years working on first defining and then clarifying and honing as my life changes my statements of vision, mission, purpose, and so forth. So it's not something that you just do and you're done with. But certainly today we're going to talk about how to get started with that process and get a good first crack at it, so that if you're feeling like, as we said in our intro, like your compass needle is spinning, this is the right place to be this morning.
Oh, I'm glad I'm in the right place. So I'm sure a lot of people wish it could be, do it and it'd be done. I know there's times I wish I could be baked, cooked, as I've heard people say too. So, but I think every time you get there, I think there's always a level of humanity that wants to go somewhere else anyway. So to think we even get to the place where we're done, I think is, I think it probably sets us up for some level of failure and disappointment, and also we probably kick ourselves a little too much because of that too. And I have to say too, in terms of people trusting their intuition, which is what I'm always telling people to do, I've really enjoyed talking to you and getting to know you the little bit that I have in terms of getting ready for the show. And it all came from me holding on to a little piece of paper from a seminar that I went to that I even have, I don't think, your web address on it. So I have to say, I think that there's something to be said for really paying attention to your gut. And, I have a bunch of cards from events I've gone to of people I've never spoken with again. So, but here I am speaking to you.
I really just thought that was so interesting when you called. I was just really impressed that you had not only held on to the card, but decided to take action with it. And that was, I just thought that was really fascinating. And it's always a wonder to see how things transpire just exactly the way they need to, and exactly the right timing. This is something that it makes perfect sense for me right now, and obviously for you as well. So I just marvel at the perfection of the way everything unfolds.
I want to say too, because you didn't even have a typical business card. It was a piece of paper. So,
right.
For anyone who's listening too, who thinks that they have to have the perfect card or the perfect something, I almost think that kind of disproves it to some degree if we're paying attention to, what our gut is saying.
Right, and I just have to share while you're saying that this was a business workshop that we both attended. I guess we never met at that time, but there was an opportunity to put business cards and literature and so forth out on the table, and I wasn't really expecting that, so I wasn't prepared. So I ran up to the print shop and blasted off some. I created something on my laptop and blasted off some copies and cut it up with scissors and put it out there. And for all you Virgos out there, I'm a Virgo, and I was just really uncomfortable with that whole thing, just sort of slapdash. And that was one of my first big steps into the concept of good enough.
Wow. I got a little chill when you said that just now. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of perfectionists out there, even if they're not Virgos, but I get that whole Virgo thing.
Yeah, it was. I was mighty uncomfortable about it, but it's not. And I want to make sure that there's a distinction. It's not about avoiding excellence or not going for mastery. I've just been through a lengthy program, and one of the books that we read was all about mastery. It's important to really get very, very good at what you do and what you're passionate about and what you're going to give into the world. But when it comes to every little detail, it's really easy to get yourself all wrapped up around trying to make everything perfect versus doing the really important things that matter really well. So that's something that's been in my recent learning, and I'm pleased to report that we're here today because I was able to get over the hurdle of having it exactly right, just get something out there.
Yay! So, and actually, even when I'm doing in the radio show and everything I've been doing the last several years are an example of that to some degree too. Because if I waited to be perfect, I would never even be talking to you right now. So for anyone who might be listening who might be like, I got to get it right, there's a lot of steps along the way to getting it right. So if you don't take them, I don't even know if it's possible to get it right at that point. The first question I want to ask you is, let's say someone says that I'm in a dead-end job with no options. What do I do? That sounds like a pretty intense question. So,
well, in today's economic environment, one way to look at that is to get up every morning and be grateful that there is a job to go to. And I don't mean to say that it's not important to look at what you're doing for a living, but there's I just some folks that I've been very close to and working with over the past few days their company's gone through a major layoff, and some of the folks I know are left behind to pick up the slack of all the people that aren't there anymore, and some of the folks I know are currently unemployed. So, the attitude of gratitude is a great place to start. The other thing I'd like to say about the whole idea of a dead-end job, there's really no such thing, honestly, when you look at it. Everything leads to something else. And it may be, I think, accurate, certainly, and I want to acknowledge the feeling of being in a dead-end job like this. This is just not getting me where I want to go. That's really great because that discomfort provides the motivation to make a shift, to make a change. Somebody that's thinking I'm in a dead-end job, with there's nowhere to go, the next logical thing that's going to come to mind is, what do I do? What do I do next? And it's fine to not know the answer to that question. Just asking the question is important because that's the beginning of the process. In one of the seminar programs that I was involved in many years ago, they talked about the stages of growth, and the first stage of growth is confusion.